Professor, what do the Canadians in today's parliament want to hear from President Biden? As we mentioned, he is addressing the parliament right now.
When we look at the relation to these two countries, it is about an ideal relationship as one can think of, but there clearly are differences. Canadians want to know that we are not going to be hurt by this Inflation Reduction Act, which basically encourages companies to buy U.S. And Canada, of course, has the U.S. as the largest trading partner. We do not want to have our manufacturers excluded from being able to send supplies to sell their goods and wares in the United States. So we need to have that kind of reassurance. We also need to make sure that we have the same kind of approach to immigration. This is why this agreement that was modified, and this was the Safe Third Country Agreement, that modification was important to Canada because we had people seeking asylum at unofficial points, particularly Roxham Road in Quebec. That is very sensitive. The Quebec government was incredibly upset by that. The Liberal Party generates a great deal of its political support in Quebec. Something had to be done, and I think the Liberal Party especially welcomes this agreement.
So explain to us how this agreement on migration is different from the one in 2004.
The original agreement stipulated that anyone who seeks asylum has to seek that asylum in the first safe country that they find themselves in. So if they are in the US or in Canada, these are considered safe countries, so they should not be able just to demand that asylum by crossing the border, and they had to turn up at official points, and they could be rejected at those official crossing points. But there was this loophole that if they came to an unofficial crossing point, such as Roxham Road, where they just walked across the border into Quebec, and something like 39,000 did so, then they could not be rejected. It would be too late. They would be able to seek some legal help. And so we wound up with a large number of asylum seekers who could not be sent back to the country of origin. The agreement now states that all along this 4,000-mile-long undefended border, if someone seeks asylum, the same rules would apply regardless of whether it is an official or unofficial crossing point. This did not come free. Apparently, Canada had to agree to take some of these asylum seekers, not all those who applied, but some like 15,000. Canada is somewhat more friendly towards immigration than the United States. We have a goal of having something like 500,000 immigrants coming to Canada every year by 2025. Given the size of the Canadian population of about 40 million, almost 40 million, this is a larger number than in the US, but nonetheless, there are limits to the number of immigrants and number of asylum seekers that Canada is willing to accept, and certainly not by gaming the system by going through unofficial points. So this is a resolution very much welcomed by the Canadian government, and especially by the Liberals, because this is an issue to their base.
Yeah, and considering these two countries share the world's largest border, it is a significant agreement. Professor Braun, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much.